I used to mimic everyone else's goals, systems, and life philosophies. For my entire life, I wanted to be like the people I looked up to. In college, I converted from playing quarterback to playing slot receiver and tried to play in the NFL like Julian Edelman. I started a podcast in college and even buzzed my head to be like Chris Williamson and Joe Rogan. Then I dropped out of a top 10 university to go on the pathless path like the author Paul Millard. And finally, I built a one person creator business, embodied the 4-hour workday, and started getting into philosophy and metaphysics like Dan Coe. These imitations served me well for a while. I was able to make relatively fast progress in work and in life by looking at what worked for those ahead of me, tweaking it slightly to fit my unique circumstances and personality, and creating what an outsider may call a quote unquote dream life with an online business, a social media following, and a lifestyle design freedom. But I had yet to evolve beyond the philosophies of others and develop a holistic approach to life and business that was completely my own. Inevitably, I had a nagging sense of feeling subtly out of alignment with my highest self and my ideal lifestyle. Despite achieving everything 20-year-old Jack could have dreamed of, something still felt off. This feeling of off was a big reason why I traveled Thailand this summer, with the intention to not work, write, build, or force myself to do literally anything. I wanted to climb back down the mountain, get to know myself more intimately, and start back up the mountain from a more aligned, integrated place. And so I did. For 2.5 months, I was one of thousands of 20-something-year-old backpackers adventuring, exploring, partying, loving, and surrendering to the beauty of life. It was magical. I fell in love with a genre of electronic music called psychedelic trance and danced until sunrise multiple times at raves. I became a volunteer at a youth hostel in Pai, Thailand, and led ice baths, breathwork, and meditation circles, and also led tours around the town, adventure days, and bar crawls late at night. I made lifelong friends from Germany, Israel, England, Australia, America, Italy, Spain, France, Ireland, and a handful of other countries around the world. And I even spun fire in front of a few dozen people in a circus. At times, I completely forgot about the creator economy, social media, and the idea of business altogether. I was starting to learn to love life simply for existing and love myself simply for being without needing to accomplish anything or get anywhere. This experience was incredibly nourishing for my soul. But after a few months of travel, in this state of complete non-doingness and accepting this non-doingness, bigger, more playful, and more impactful ideas began to emerge in my mind. I could create an online school. I could create in-person retreats and festivals. I could start DJing and playing music in person. From this place of zero pressure and pure play, anything seemed not only possible, but also incredibly energizing and fun. So after 2.5 months of backpacking without building or creating anything, I shifted quickly into a 2-week sprint of intense inspiration, ideation, action, and iteration. I shifted from staying up until 8 a.m. at raves to staying up until 8 a.m. designing projects, making videos, and writing. It was like a literal fire was put under my ass that would not allow me to sleep because the ideas, creations, and projects were so exciting and energizing. This feeling of a fire being lit under my ass can also be described as Kundalini energy or a Kundalini awakening, which I'll be speaking about more shortly. From this place of heightened intrinsic inspiration, in these past weeks, I've revamped my entire online business model, moving all my attention to Conscious Creators, the online school. I've restructured my entire digital ecosystem and nested everything inside of a new website I built, jackmoses.co. And I've entered the building phase of hosting a men's retreat in Austin, Texas with my good friend Cameron Hogan. Oh, and I've also moved back to Illinois for the last 3 weeks from Thailand, and that's been an interesting transition to say the least. This transition back into a building, creating, and writing phase has me feeling similar to how I felt when I landed in Chiang Mai 3 months ago with a backpack and no plan. I feel out in the abyss. navigating uncharted territory, finding my way forward one step at a time. These projects require me to step into the next iteration of myself, back towards structure, back towards systems, and back towards discipline. I'm observing myself shift back towards the middle way between the progress that comes from building projects and businesses and the presence that comes from free-flowing solo travel. And this shift is not happening without growing pains. Structure feels hard. Redesigning my systems feels hard. Setting an alarm in the morning feels hard. But I feel I am coming back to this middle way from a summer that was very much lived completely in the feminine chaos. But I had to transcend the previous stage of hyper-masculine order and structure, navigate into the unknown to learn how to thrive in chaos and tap into my feminine essence, and now I am coming back full circle, like a spiral, to a more holistically integrated version of myself. Ken Wilber says in his book Integral Psychology, in a healthy developmental process, you transcend and include. You don't deny or dissociate from earlier stages, but rather you integrate them into a more complex and comprehensive whole. So this summer, I learned how to play outside of structure. This experience strengthened my anti-fragility. I learned I can play both in and out of structure. I can thrive in my ordered, structured, and focused masculine, as I have for most of my life, but I can also thrive in my playful, spontaneous, flowy feminine essence, which I tapped deeply into this summer. I can sometimes use Google Calendar, and at other times I can completely disregard it. I can sometimes set an alarm, or other times I can stay up until 4 a.m. and wake up at noon. No one way is right or wrong. What matters is alignment and integrity to both a vision for my future and the present moment. And so the question I keep coming back to is, what is this moment requiring of me? From here, the right action repeatedly arises. So you must learn to create your own life philosophy. You cannot adopt someone else's ideals, values, or systems and expect to live a perfectly aligned, harmonious life. Just because it worked for them does not mean it will work for you, including everything I'm saying about my own life right now. You are a completely unique being with a completely unique brain and completely unique curiosities, talents, energy cycles, rhythms, and natural proclivities. Yes, you can take inspiration from another's way of living, working, and being, but you must create your own philosophy, construct your own goals, and develop your own systems to find what workflow, career, and lifestyle align with the most natural, authentic expression of you. I've learned this lesson myself after getting really good at mirroring and intelligently imitating people I wanted to be like my whole life, from athletes to entrepreneurs to writers and philosophers. But I've learned recently, on more of an experiential level rather than an intellectual level, that to become truly free and to become the most full, authentic expression of myself, I must carve my own path. You can learn from those ahead of you. They can be lighthouses of truth and inspiration to guide you on your path. But to truly walk your own path, you must blaze your own trail. And to finish this, the philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti says, "The moment you follow someone, you cease to follow truth." So that is all for this video. I will be sharing more of these updates and streams of consciousness as they arise in my consciousness, and I will also be sharing more details on the retreat in Austin, Texas in late November soon. But if you're interested, you can fill out the application form in the description of this video. So with that, until next time, thank you for listening. If you could give this a like, if you could subscribe, it really helped me continue to grow this channel and spread this message. But yeah, with that, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.